Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the oldest books on my physical TBR. So I had the realisation lately that I have a huge TBR. We're almost at 500 books. I say that as if I want it to get there. I don't want it to get there. I remember thinking I had 250 and that was too many. Now we're hitting 500 and I just noticed that I wasn't really gravitating for the oldest books I owned. I was kind of going for the mid-range. So the older books were never getting read and ones that I bought a year ago were finally getting to, and I wasn't reading the new ones either. So I had a chat with Victoria. Victoria, who I'm sure you know over at What Victoria Read, is doing a 31 books in August challenge. And the way she picks her 31 books is she just went from her oldest book to, like, you know, counted to 31. And I was having this conversation saying that when I don't have a challenge, a TBR jar, a readathon, what I should actually be doing is starting from my oldest book to make sure all of these things are actually getting read. So here's a video of my 15 oldest books. So these are ones that have been on my physical TBR the longest. There are other books that have maybe been on, like, I want to own these, then I hauled them a bit later, but these are the oldest ones, oldest physical copies that I have. So in 15th spot, we have The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. I have read some Ruta Sepetys, like World War II fiction, and absolutely loved it. So I was definitely really excited for this book when I realised it existed, but that hasn't encouraged me to pick it up. So this is Madrid in 1957. Daniel, who's young, wealthy, and unsure of his place in the world, views the city through the lens of his camera. Anna, a hotel maid whose family is suffering under the fascist dictatorship of General Franco. Lives and hearts collide as they unite to uncover the hidden darkness within the city, a darkness that could engulf them all. So it's definitely not something that I'm, like, against reading. I just don't gravitate towards it. So yeah, need to be prioritising this. In 14th spot, we have It's My Life by Stacey Ramey. This is a YA contemporary that has been on many TBRs. It just never happens. Jenna's had cerebral palsy since birth and she's never let it get her down. But when she discovers that her condition was actually caused by an injury, she's furious with her parents who withheld the truth. And as they push her to yet another difficult procedure, Jenna feels the control over her own life starting to slip away. Enter Julian, Jenna's childhood crush. I won't read more than that, but yeah, definitely want to read this. That sounds amazing. That sounds like such a fantastic book, but not prioritised it again. The next couple of books you will see are from authors I absolutely loved when I started my channel. So I bought their, like, backlist books or their newer releases, like, at that time, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. So the first one we have is Thicker Than Water by Bridget Kemmerer. This is one of her backlist contemporaries. I'm not sure when it came out, but this copy is beat up and bruised. So this came out in 2016, so actually not that old. It just was a public library copy, which is why it's a little bit damaged. But I said way back when, and even now, I haven't finished all of Bridget Kemmerer's books, but I would read that woman's shopping list. So I need to read this one. This is about Thomas. Hasn't been in town long, just long enough for his newlywed mother to be murdered, and for his new stepdad's cop colleagues to decide Thomas is the primary suspect. Not that there's any evidence, but before Thomas got to Garrett's Mill, there had been one other murder in 20 years. The only person who believes him is Charlotte, little sister to 3 cops, and with her soft hands and sweet curves, straight up dangerous to Thomas. Her friend was the other murder victim, and she'd like a couple answers. Answers that could get them both killed and reveal a truth Thomas would die to keep hidden. It sounds fantastic. What am I doing? Another author that I stand by that comment, we have The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I have had this since... Oh, this was from Becca. Oh, I did know that, I just forgot. But yeah, I've had this pretty much since it came out. It came out in 2020, and yeah, I would have read the Daughter of the Pirate King series and then been like, I want this one. So this is by Alessandra, who is tired of being overlooked, but she has a plan to gain power. Woo the Shadow King, marry him, kill him, and take his kingdom for herself. So again, we won't read more than that. Why haven't I read this yet? Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, the pinnacle of I would read their shopping list is Mindy McGuinness, and we have Heroine. I am scared to read this because I have to love it, and I don't know if I'm going to. I can never guarantee it with a Mindy McGuinness, and it scares me. So this is about Mickey, whose life has been littered with struggles, from the scars that tell of past injuries to her parents' divorce, to finding the right words to fit in socially. Mickey is no stranger to pain, emotional or physical. When a car crash sidelines her months before softball season, Mickey has to find a way to hold on to her spot as the catcher for the team, expected to make a historic tournament run. Behind the plate is the only place she's ever felt comfortable, and the painkiller she's been prescribed can help her get back there. The pills do more than take away the pain, they make her feel good. With a new circle of friends, fellow injured athletes, others with just time to kill, Mickey finds peaceful acceptance and people with whom words come easily, even if it's just the pills loosening her tongue. But as the pressure to be Mickey heightens, her need increases, and it becomes less about pain and more about want, something that could send her spiraling out of control. I'm sure this book is going to be one of the most amazing things I've ever read, so I should read it. We then have 2 books from an author that I cannot believe are still sat here, but they are, alas. We have Chasing Lucky by Jen Bennett. I can't even remember what this one's about, but I pre-ordered it. I tell you that now. This came out in 2020, and I know I pre-ordered it. Haven't even opened it. Haven't even opened it. Do you know what? I'm going to leave myself a little bit of mystery on this one. It's another YA contemporary. What's it called now? Starry Eyes is one of my favourite books of all time, so I had to buy every Jen Bennett. Haven't read it yet. Also, I haven't read The Lady Rogue. I did try and read this one, but I just literally didn't start it. I think I read the first page. This is like a historical feel fantasy quest set in Romania. I did know that. And I remember wanting to read it because I worked with a Romanian colleague and I was telling her about elements of the story, and I just never read it because that's great, isn't it? Okay, I need to prioritise the Jen Bennetts. We then have the end of a series that I've never finished, and I'm going to have to start again from number 1, which I've done several times. It's Finale by Stephanie Garber. I haven't finished this series, which means I haven't read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series yet. I have special editions for all of them. I need to get around to it. I really do. There's no excuses. This is 3rd book in the Caraval series. I've read Caraval maybe 3 times, Legendary twice. Have never finished the series. No excuses. Next up, we have If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegmund Broker. No reason for not reading this one. It's just still here. Turns out being gorgeous and popular doesn't get you off the hook for being a total bitch. Guess Cameron didn't get the memo. So when her crush Andrew balks at her nasty ways, she'll do anything to get back in his favour. Anything takes the form of a self-taming project, a la Shakespeare's famous shrew Catherine. If Cameron can prove to Andrew she's changed for the better, he'll have to give her another chance. But facing her flaws head on is no easy task, especially when making amends with a certain guy leads to complicated feelings. Look, we have a YA contemporary that I bought. I need to read it. The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. No excuses for this one either. This must have got popular in BookTube when I started out. Apart from that, I've got no idea. No idea. Who are the Nowhere Girls? They're every girl, but they start with just 3. Grace, the preacher's daughter who moves into the former house of a girl whose pain still adorns the walls. Bold Rosina, who dreams of a life playing music instead of waitressing at her uncle's restaurant. And Misunderstood Erin, the girl who finds more solace in science and order than she does in people. Oh, okay, I missed the bit at the bottom. This is an indictment of rape culture and explores with bold honesty the deepest questions about teenage girls and sexuality. Interesting. I did not know that's where that was going. Masterfully fierce, stirring, and deeply empowering. Maybe I should read that. We then have, I've just included this one rather than the rest of the series. Otherwise it'd be a very boring list. Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. Do we think I should probably carry on with all my Cassandra Clare books, seeing as I buy every single one that comes out and have never attempted to go past this book? We don't need to tell you what this is about. It's part of the Shadowhunters world. This is book 1 of The Dark Artifices. No excuses. Little bit more of an excuse. What number are we now? Number 4. Number 4 on the list is Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. This is a YA contemporary that looks into self-harm. Apparently it is absolutely devastating. I won't go into the description. I need to read it. Genuinely, there is nothing stopping me reading this now, but I was looking for a time where I was completely emotionally stable before reading this. Is now the time? I think I could do it now, but I've now heard bad reviews of this, of people who are reading it today who probably should have read it however many, 6 years ago when it came out, probably more than that. 2016, 8 years ago when this came out, and probably when about I got my copy. We then have Unclaimed Baggage by Jen Dole. This is a random YA contemporary that I bought that is about people working with the unclaimed suitcases that get lost in airports. I have no reason to have not read this now. She's moved from a small town in Alabama to the Chicago suburbs. I can't speak. Well, Cole lives outside of Chicago, not in the suburbs, but he's not that far. So I'm hoping I can kind of work out where they're placing this book. That'll be kind of fun. 3 teens realise that people aren't always what they seem, secrets hide in plain sight, and everybody has a little extra baggage weighing them down. But true friendship and love will help you find your place. I always say it, check out the squirrel. Why wouldn't I read this? Now number 2, there's kind of a reason why I haven't read this and that's making me not want to read it. It is Midnight Bites by Rachel Caine. I thought it was after Daylighters, which is book 15 in the Morganville series. It's actually a collection of short stories that were included throughout the whole series, and lots of my copies of the books had short stories in, so some of these I might have already read. It says, bringing together everything Rachel Caine has written in short form about Morganville, this collection is carefully organised into a timeline so you can read from the earliest adventures all the way through to post-Daylighters, the final novel in the series. It does include more than 50,000 words of brand new content, alongside stories compiled from the author's website and anthologies. So I am going to read it. I just don't, you know, I haven't been prioritising it. I didn't read it straight after I read Daylighters for the final, like on my last reread. But yeah, it's just not something I'm like reaching for. It is a pick in my Patreon TBR jar, so I might just leave it until that happens by chance. And the oldest book on my physical TBR, I don't know why I was surprised by this, is Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer. So this is the retelling of Twilight with different characters. It's the 10th anniversary? Yeah, 10th anniversary special edition of Twilight, where we're following different characters. We're following Beaufort Swan, who moves to the gloomy town of Forks and meets the mysterious, alluring Edith Cullen. With her porcelain skin, golden eyes, mesmerising voice and supernatural gifts, Edith is born irresistible and enigmatic. What Beau doesn't realise is that the closer he gets to her, the more he is putting himself and those around him at risk, and it might be too late to turn back. So yeah, this was written by Stephanie Meyer as a celebration of Twilight in the 10th anniversary. I have never read it, mainly because it's the exact same story as Twilight, just set in the past a little bit and with like a gender swap. There is also a note from Stephanie at the front apologising for this book not being Midnight Sun because people thought she was going to release Midnight Sun. Obviously she has since, but yeah, there's a lot of changes and in the story, and she's kind of told you what those changes are and why. But I'd never given much thought to dying, though I'd had reason to enough in the last few months. But even if I had, I wouldn't have imagined it like this. So yeah, one day. When that one day will be, I don't know. So there you have it. Those are the 15 oldest books on my TBR. Next time I need to pick a book and I don't have a challenge or like a reason to read something, I'm gonna go to, wait, yeah, hang on, ignore everything I've said. When I need to read a book, I need to go to Life and Death. And then I need to go to Midnight Bites. Like there's no order to this. Well, there is an order to this. I can't just pick and choose when I'm gonna read them. I should start from the oldest book, which is Life and Death. So that's what I'm going to do. Hold me to it. If you see a reading vlog where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to read, I'm going to use this TBR jar, I'm going to do this challenge. No. If I haven't already said at this point, what's today's date? The 13th of August today. If I haven't said today that I'm going to do a certain challenge, I need to get told off. If you do tell me off and then I'm like, actually this was pre-planned, I'm really sorry. But yeah, next time I need to pick a book, it should be Life and Death. Let me know if you've read any of the books I held up in this video. Let me know any thoughts, feelings, opinions on the challenge. Well, challenge, very loose challenge. But for now, that's all I have to say. So thank you very, very much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.